I'm kind of stuck here. This might be a good campground. The cops won't bother me. Just took my first crash here. Just finished riding with a new rider that I've never ridden with, and he was extremely good. He was riding a Ducati Panigale, you know, whatever, 1190 something S with all-in suspension and everything. And of course I'm riding my DL650, so it's always a, you know, you're never sure that you can keep up. The guy was really good, and I could see him in my mirrors, like there was no problem at all the way he rode. It just in the rougher roads, I was suspecting that he wasn't going to do too well, but even then he did extremely well. But it doesn't really matter what you're riding, it just, they'll ride anything really well. Yeah, that Ducati Panigale was really good looking, and I felt kind of crappy that I had my DL650 with me, because the DL650 is not a great looking bike, and parked next to that Ducati, it looked like it looked like it was like from the 1980s. You're riding with new people, you just never know that it's you know, this guy was really fast, and you can tell because he was very smooth. And when I entered turns and I was like exiting, he was like closer to me than he was before, so he definitely could carry a whole lot more speed than I could into the corner. You know right away, it's kind of like if you're sparring with somebody in karate, you know right away where you are, and he was much faster than I was. But that said, like with my vstrom 650 and the dark side tire, it's still okay. Like I don't feel like I need to get a sport bike tire on the bikes just to keep up with sport bikes. You know, the sport bikes that do have advantages, but for riding rough roads and stuff like that, that dark side tire like really helps out. I did hit 104 miles per hour on a big stretch of road. The Panigale didn't try and like keep up, because he would totally like kill me if he wanted. He probably just could definitely go 100 in second gear. I'd love to try in one of these newer bikes like the BMW or the Ducati, because I've never felt electronic suspension or any bike that has like modes for power. And riding a vstrom, in a way, like that bike, there's nothing wrong with the vstrom, but I think it's all relative. If you start riding with guys that have Ducatis, BMWs, Suzuki GSX-R 1000s, you're going to be left for dead, especially if they're really good riders. But most of the time I ride alone, so the vstrom suits me really well. And I do prefer the upright seating position than the sport bike crouched position. But once in a while, it's really nice to have that aggressive styling of a bike. I don't think I would ever get rid of the DL650 to buy a dedicated sport bike. I probably would want a sport bike and a vstrom or a KTM Adventure or something like that. But what I learned from this ride is that skills is pretty much all relative. Don't try and go faster than what you're comfortable with. On this ride, I could tell that he was a much better rider, but I never really wanted to push myself to go even faster, because that's a recipe for disaster. And I think that's what happens with guys who have a lot of experience, who go to Deal's Gap. They get caught up in the moment of almost like racing. So just a little heads up, it's starting to rain. Yep, starting to rain. I'm gonna start heading out. See you guys.